Namaste everyone. Welcome to this 1 month long Oneness Festival, a global celebration of Adi Shankaracharya ji. In this session, we have a live talk by Shri J. Surya Narayana Garu on defining Advaita. After that, we have a video in Tamil on Shri Shankara Hridayam by Puja Shri Swami Omkarananda ji. And for the new attendees, we have 4 different sessions every day, 2 in the morning at 6 a.m. IST and 2 in the evening at 6:30 p.m. IST with extra music sessions on weekends. So please try and join as many as you can. Shri Surya Narayana Garu's education covers Krishna Yajurveda Samhita, Vyakaranam and Advaita Vedanta. He has successfully completed the Mahapariksha in Tarka Shastra Nyaya. He has won many awards for his work in Vedic sciences. He is a BA, MA Sanskritam, MA Nyaya Shiromani, and MPhil PG diploma in manuscriptology. And he is currently pursuing a PhD. His research work includes critical editing and commentary on Sakshatkaratva Lakshana Vicharaha as a thesis in University of Madras. He has taught at Sri Venkateshwara Veda Pathashala, Hyderabad, and also as an online tutor to NRI students. He has developed content for Hindupedia and video classes for Vyoma Pathashala and Indic Academy. His works have been published in Shastrartha Deepika and Manikya Prabha. To add to everything, he knows Sanskritam, Telugu, Hindi, English, and Japanese. So I welcome Surya Narayana Garu to this forum and request him to please start his talk. Shri Guru.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your warm welcome. So I am very much happy to be with you here. Thank you very much Advaita Academy and Indic Academy for launching this grand celebrations of Shankara. So I want to start this session with a small Mangalam, and I have something to show you also. So I want to share you that before starting. And there is a small slogan which I want to give to these celebrations. Shri Shankara Bhagavat Padaha Vijayante is the slogan I want to give. So this was given by one of my Gurujis, Shri Pulela Sri Ramachandra ji. So he was very much related to this slogan. So I will start with the Mangalam. Om Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. As we all know, Shankara, Sri Shankara, made bhashyas for 3 different types of books, which are called Prasthanatrayam in the Shastra. So there is Shrutis Prasthana, Smruti Prasthana, and also the Vichara Prasthana. So literally he drank the ocean of knowledge. He processed the entire system, knowledge system, and he gave us the rector or the Amrutam to us. So that is why we all bow down to him. So this shloka is meant about that. So after this, I have a beautiful shloka written by Padmapadacharya. Namamya bhoga parivara sampadam nirasta bhuti manumardha vigraham anugramunmrudita kala lanchanam vina vinayakamapurva shankaram. He is bowing down to his Guru Shankara. He is telling that he is a new Shankara, which means that the old Shankara is the Puranic Shankara, who is the father of Ganesha, Kartikeya, and who also stays in Kailasha. So he depicts his Guru as the new Shankara, and he has many adjectives to add on to it. Namam Yabhogi Parivara Sampadam, which means that this new Shankara doesn't have any Parivara. He is a Abhogi. He is not a Bhogi. He is Abhogi, which means that he is a sannyasi Nirasta Bhuti Manumardha Vigraham. The old Shankara has Uma as a part to his body. So this new Shankara doesn't have Uma as a part to his body. Nirasta Bhutim Anumardha Vigraham. Anumardha, na Umardha Vigraham. The old Shankara used to be Umardha Vigraha, and the new Shankara is Anumardha Shankara. Anugraham, Anugram, Unmrudita Kala Lanchanam. The new Shankara is very pleasant. He is not the Bhutapati or the Pashupati, who is also at times very ferocious. So this Shankara is very calm. Anugram, Unmrudita Kala Lanchanam. The old Shankara used to have Kala Sarpa in his neck, and the new Shankara is not having that. So this also shows calmness. Vina Vinayakam Apurva Shankaram. Vina Vinayakam. The old Shankara used to have Vinayaka on his lap because he is the father of the Ganesha. So this Shankara doesn't have Vinayaka. So this shloka is also suggesting that Shankara is nothing but an avatara of Paramashiva, Bhavani Shankara, Pashupatinatha, which means that he is the God of knowledge. We all respect Bhagavan Shankara to be the God of knowledge. So I want to start my small talk with these two Mangala shlokas. And today I want to explain the different theories which are present in different darshanas. The theory about cause and effect. What is the cause and what is the effect? And is there any different existence to both of them? So this is the main topic I want to deal today. And also, I want to negate the theories established by the Dvaitins here, according to Ghatabhashya from Brihadaranyaka. So Ghatabhashya is a unique part of Bhashya to Brihadaranyaka, so which is dealing with the cause and effect theory, showing Ghata or the pot as an example. So as a basic level student of Vedanta, I'm always fascinated with the examples shown in the Bhashya. So we have different levels of maturities between us. So there are some people who grasp everything in the first instance itself. But there are some people who cannot really relate with the theories established there. So I always love this unique technique of Sri Shankara, giving an elaborative examples to these theories. So recently, when I was talking with one of my Gurujis about something related to the cause and effect theory, he was quoting this Ghatabhashya. So when Indic Academy people contacted me to do this talk, I instantly took Ghatabhashya as a topic to the talk. Okay, so I want to clarify actually what is Dvaitins. So Advaita has Dvaita in it. So first we have to be clear what is Dvaita. After having a clarity upon the term Dvaita, we can easily relate to the term Advaita. So first thing we have to know is what is Dvaita. Who are called Dvaitins? So by the time Shankara, Sri Shankara was doing Bhashya, the word Dvaitins were used only for Nayayikas and Vaisheshikas. Okay, so now the word Dvaitin is having other meanings also, because the timeline is different from there to now. But I am only interested in dealing with the term then, when Shankara was doing the bhashya. So why Naiyayikas and Vaisheshikas are called Dvaitins? Here, the word Dvaita has another word called Dvi. Dvi means two. Dvaitins means somebody who is accepting the existence of two, actual existence of two. So from that explanation, the word Dvaita came. So to know in detail, we have to see actually what are they establishing. So their theory of cause and effect is called Asatkaryavada. It is called Asatkaryavada. So I will give a small explanation about that and also give some examples to it. So by which you will know what actually they meant of Dvaita there. So every Darshanika means one who is following a darshana is called Darshanika, or preaching a darshana is called Darshanika. So we have many darshanas. Darshana in simple is a perception. So we have in broad two different types of darshanas. One is the Astika darshana and the second one is the Nastika darshana. So Astika darshana are the people who are taking Vedas as their primary source of knowledge. They are called Astikas. And the people who don't take Vedas as a primary source of knowledge, they are called Nastikas. So in the Astika parampara itself, we have Naiyayikas, means Nyaya Avalambinaha, and Vaisheshikas, who are following Vaisheshika Darshana. So this Nyaya Darshana was started by Gautama, and Vaisheshika Darshana is started by Kanada. So these two Maharishis started two different paths, but these two are similar. So that is why these both are called Dvaitins here. Okay. So all the darshanas generally talk about the creation, Srishti. How did we create? Athava, how was the world created? How was the universe created? This is the main problem for them, because till we don't know the answer for this primary question, we cannot move on. We cannot really see this world. As I have told previously, that darshana means a perception. If you want to have a perception towards life, towards world, towards death, towards rebirth, etc., you have to define what is creation according to you. So these two darshanas tell that the entire universe is created from atoms. A different relation between atoms created this world. So once we'll just peep into the process. Kriya, kriyataha vibhagaha, vibhagat purvadesha samyoga nashaha, tataha uttaradesha samyogaha, tataha dravyotpattihi. This is the process they tell. I will just explain the process also. Kriya means action. So there are different types of atoms by the time of creation. And one another thing we should be clear, that every creation is always after destruction. So pralaya, destruction is called pralaya in the Shastram. So after pralaya, according to Naiyayikas and Vaisheshikas, all the Nitya Padarthas remain still. According to them, Nitya Padarthas means the Paramanavaha. Paramanu means the atoms. All the atoms are Nityas. Nitya means which are not created, neither destructed. Which don't have creation or destruction is called Nitya. So these Nitya Dravyas are Paramanus, And Akasha, Kala, Dik, Atma, Manas. Akasha means space. Kala, time. Dik, direction. Atma is the thing which is listening my words now. Everybody is listening to my words. So which is listening to my words is the Atma. Which is knowing my words is Atma. Which is seeing my slide is Atma. So that is the Atma here. And also we have Manas. Manas is a very wavering thing, and which is very important also to know. So Manas is also called Buddhi at times. So we don't have a similar word in English to tell Manas. So we also have Manas. So by the time of creation, all these Nitya Padarthas are still, they are not moving. According to Ishwarecha, according to the wish of Ishvara, an action is initiated in any atom. For example, if Ishvara was willing to create a pot, a mud pot, a pot out of mud, then the smallest part of the mud, which is called atom or paramanu, in Sanskrit we call as Mrit Paramanu, according to Ishvara's Icha, it will have an action in it. So when anything has an action in it and move, then automatically it is not related to the previous base. It is moving away from its previous base. So that is called Vibhaga. When anything has an action in it, it will move away from its previous ground. So it is called Vibhaga. That is a guna for them, a quality for them. So after Vibhaga, the total destruction of the relation with the previous ground happens. That is called Purva Desha Samyoga Nashaha. And after that, they tell it has Uttara Desha Samyoga, which means a relation with another particle. For example, the mud particle, smallest mud particle is getting related with another smallest mud particle. So that is the Uttara Desha Samyoga. Then after, a Dravya is formed, a new Dravya is formed. In the previous example, it is Dvyanukam. The formation of two different smallest particles is called Dvyanukam. So this is how Nayayikas and Vaisheshikas explain the creation after destruction. Means after Pralaya, when Srishti happens, they tell, according to the Ishvara's Icha, atoms move, they join, they rejoin, and they form new particles. That is how this world is created according to them. And also they tell that this world, the creation is of mainly three types: body, sensory organs, and other matter, other than body and sensory matters. That is called Sharira, Indriya, Vishaya. Sharira, Indriya, and Vishaya. These are the main three different types of creations they take. So I also want to explain this process with another example also of thread and cloth. So here thread is the cause and the cloth is the effect. So when thread doesn't have any action in it, an action to create cloth, it stands still. It is still in the form of thread. So when an action is initiated into the thread, according to the previous slide, an action, after that Vibhaga, and after that Purva Desha Sanyoga, and after that Uttara Desha Sanyoga, which means a different type of relation within another thread. So after that, a cloth is born. Okay. And also the qualities and the characteristics of these thread will reflect in the karyam. So all the qualities and characteristics of cause will be reflected in the effect. So this is what they take. So what is the relation with Advaita for this. So here is the relation. In Brihadaranyaka, Prathamadhyaya, Dvitiya Brahmana, the starting mantra is Naiveha Kinchanagra Asin Mrityu Naivedam Avritam. Na eva, Naiveha, na eva iha Kinchana Agra Asit. Before the creation, there was nothing here. Okay, there was nothing here. Before creation, there was nothing here. Mrityu naivedam avritam. Mrityu. There is a term mrityu. I will explain what is mrityu here. Mrityuna eva idam avritam. Everything is blanketed by mrityu. Avritam means which is fully with mrityu, which means there is nothing. There is andhakara here. So, as we have learned that Nayayikas and Vaisheshikas tell that from atoms everything is born. So according to them, there was nothing other than atoms before creation. So atoms replace the cause and the Dvenuka replaces the effect. So before the creation of any effect, there is no effect. There is nothing called effect. Okay, that is what Nayayikas take. Now we'll see what Bauddhas are telling about this. So Bauddhas are Nastikas, which means that they don't take Vedas as the primary knowledge source. So they tell that some of Bauddhas have many sects in them. So some of them tell that this creation is out of shunya, nothing. So they automatically attribute this Shruti also to them, which means that Shruti also is advocating our theory. They tell that. So this all conversation is in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad's Bhashya. I am just simplifying the Bhashya for you in English. Okay. So one another thing, amazing thing is that in many Bhashyas, Shankaracharya depicts that in a conversation. So a student easily catches the essence of any theory if that is in a katha mode. Katha means conversation. Purvottara Vakya Sandarbha. The conversation between two different parties. When a serious theory is presented in a conversation mode, then the student grabs that very easily. So here also in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya, in Ghata Bhashya, we see this conversation. Okay. Also here, another wonderful nyaya or logic is also applied, which is called Pradhana Malla Nibarhana Nyaya. Pradhana Malla Nibarhana Nyaya means Mallaha is a wrestler. So in any wrestling competition, if there are if you take that there are at least 5 different competitors, means 5 different wrestlers came there for the competition, how do we tell that this person is a winner? He doesn't wrestle with all those 5 or 4 other wrestlers, but when he defeats the most winning wrestler, automatically he will win the competition. In the same way, Shankaracharya doesn't refute or oppose Bauddhas directly with his theory. He will allow Nayayikas to defeat Bauddhas, and after that he logically defeats Nayayikas and Vaisheshikas. So this type of logic is called Pradhana Malla Nibarhana Nyaya. Okay, so he is also implying that logic here. So according to these Dvaitins or Nayayikas or Vaisheshikas, effect is totally a different entity than cause. But according to Buddhas, there is no cause. From nothing, something came out for them. From Shunyam, Karyam came out for them. Okay. So Nayayikas are the opponents to Buddhas, first opponents to the Buddhas. So what is the logic Nayayikas showing is that they tell your logic is not right. You cannot tell that the creation is from nothing. Why? Because before creating a pot, we generally see a mud ball or mrutpindaha. Mrutpindaha is a Sanskrit word to depict mud, ball. Before creating a pot, they pour some water into fine mud and press it to make a ball. So this is the cause for the effect called pot. So before creating anything, we can see the cause. So whatever we see, that is there. Okay, whichever we see, the sensory organ is the knowledge source there to establish the cause. So the Nayayika's logic is defeating Buddha's theory of Shunyavada and establishing that there is a cause before effect. And also we should Nayayikas also Nayayikas take that the mud ball is totally different from pot. So pot is totally different from mud ball, which means that the effect is totally different from cause. So the effect is having a different existence from pot. So this is called Asatkaryavada. Asatkarya means before taking the shape of pot, there was no pot actually. So this is called Asatkaryavada. So I have some elaboration in this slide for this. If the cloth is made at 9 p.m., okay, so somebody is making a cloth at 9 p.m. Before that, till 8:30, 8:45, 8:55, 8:59 p.m. also, actually there was no cloth. That cloth was totally not there. It doesn't have any existence. But after 9 p.m., there is a cloth. So this is what they are telling. They are telling that before the creation, there was no effect, but after it, there is an effect. So this theory is called Asatkaryavada, and this is establishing different existence for both Karya and Karana, means effect and cause. And this is negating Shunyavada. Why? Shunyavada is not taking anything before creation. So not taking anything is Shunya. So they are telling that there was nothing before creation. So the Asatkaryavada of Nayayikas and Vaisheshikas is negating Shunyavada. And also they in another example, mud ball and pot, we can see that we are seeing a mud ball before actually creating a pot. So by using Pradhana Malla Nibarhana Nyaya, Adi Shankaracharya is not directly negating Buddhas, but he is negating only Nayayikas. But these Buddhas were already lost to Nayayikas. So there is no other way to again defeat them. Okay. So this Satkaryavada is an answer to the Dvaitins. Dvaitins means who are taking different existence for both Karya and Karana. That is why they are called Dvaitins. Okay. So how does Advaita answer this Dvaitins? Means they tell that you have pot in the mud before seeing it at 9 p.m. Actually, you just take that the pot is also made at 9 p.m. Okay. So before 9 p.m., also there was a pot. Then instantly we'll get a question. So why can't we see that pot now? When you are telling that actually there is a pot, why can't we see it? We can't see it because it has not taken the shape of a pot. Okay, it has not manifested itself to be as a pot. Okay, so what is the logic behind telling that you have a pot inside or in mud? You have a pot actually in the form of mud. So what is the logic that you take? The logic is that you cannot create which it doesn't exist. Okay, you cannot create a pot out of gold. You cannot create a mud pot out of gold. You cannot create a mud pot out of plastic. Okay, you cannot create a computer out of mud. Why? So these logic, which was actually shown extensively in Sankhya Karikas, by taking this logic, we can come to a conclusion that we cannot make something which actually was not there. Okay, so mud actually has the potentiality to become a pot. So that is why it is becoming a pot. Only after 9 p.m. it is manifesting itself to be a pot. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that the cause and the effect doesn't have a different existence. Okay, pot is nothing but mud. Okay, before 9 p.m. when there was no pot, also there was mud. After it is shown like a pot, you have mud. So this logic proves that the cause and the effect doesn't have two different existence. Okay, and also if anybody want to make a pot, he is going towards mud. He is going to procure mud. So that is also a logic behind telling that mud has pot in it. Mud has the potentiality to become pot in it. Okay, now we'll just replace the terms mud and pot with cause and effect, and eventually we can also replace those two terms with Brahma and Jagat. Okay, actually now also we tend to know everything different. I am different from you, my computer is different from you, my sound is different from myself and all. Okay, why? Till now we are in the samsara dasha. We are still in a state that we are in a Dvaita state actually. Even though we are now talking about Advaita, even in this state, we are in a Dvaita state. We are thinking in a Dvaita state. I am talking, you are listening, you are understanding, etc. So this all is a difference. So when you really contemplate on the main theories of Advaita, you will tend to understand that everything is one. That is what oneness or Advaita means. Okay, so I think this what you say Ghatabhashya, this Ghatabhashya is giving an insight of Shankaracharya on how he is actually seeing the world. He is actually seeing everything one. So that is why his view is Advaita. There is no Dvaita. There is no different existence for cause and effect. Effect is nothing but cause itself. Okay, so that is what he want to make clear to us. So I have a small slide for you. So when we are in this samsara dasha, we tend to see all these parts and know that these are all different parts. Okay, we tell that this is the first part, this is the second part, this is the third one, this is the fourth one, so on. Okay, when we are in this state, our perception is a Dvaita perception. We are in Dvaita perception. But according to the logic which Shankara told in Ghatabhashya, if we see, everywhere there is mud. There is mud everywhere. Without mud, there cannot be these many parts here. Okay. So according to that, there is only one thing everywhere, that is mud. In the same way, if we replace mud with Brahma and pot with Jagat, if we can see, if we can contemplate, then there is only one thing, that is Brahma. Jagan Mithya, Brahma Satyam. That is what Advaita is here. That is what oneness is here. Okay, oneness is not related to any number here, but it is a perception of negating the difference. Oneness is nothing but negating the difference. Bhedam vyavachedamahe. They are negating the difference between many things. Actually, we see there are no many things when you see only one thing everywhere. So that is what Advaita means here. So I will end the session with a Guru Prarthana. Om Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I once again thank the administration for giving me this opportunity, which was also shared by my Guruji, Shri Mahamahopadhyaya, Manidravada Shastrigal. So thank you very, very much. Indic Academy and Advaita Academy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andy. That was a very, very excellent and clear-cut presentation. I'm sure all of you agree. And because of such wonderful visual examples and how Surya Narayana Garu explains it, he's very busy and he'll have to leave for another online session and classes. So unfortunately, we'll have to let him go and we won't have time for questions. But we hope, and he does give talks on Indic Academy. So please join us for his talks on Indic Academy. And I'll let Surya Narayana Garuji leave us right now. Thank you so much. It was wonderful.